Welcome back to the channel. So, a big part of the credit card game is maximizing your everyday benefits on every credit card. And in today's video, I wanted to take a look at the most unique and interesting credit card benefits across the credit cards in Canada and the US. Now, when I say unique and interesting, I'm referring to the benefits that you might not necessarily expect from a certain credit card. So of course, the TD Aeroplan card is going to give you, priority boarding on Air Canada. The RBC WestJet card is going to give you free checked bags on WestJet. And the Marriott and Hilton cards are going to give you the respective hotel statuses. But what are some of the more underrated, unexpected credit cards out there, whether it's by design or by accident, that you can take advantage of? I've picked out 7 of these super unique benefits that I wanted to touch upon. So without further ado, actually with a little bit of ado, and that's if you really enjoy these videos, if you think they're educational or informative, if you think I do a good job of telling people how to maximize their credit cards, then feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now that really helps tell YouTube that I'm doing a good job and share the video with even more viewers, especially when you do it right now, just as the video is starting. And with that, let's get into the video. Okay, so the first unique benefit that I wanted to highlight is what I'm going to call the status matching pathway on the American Express Platinum Card and Business Platinum Card. Now this status matching pathway could in fact warrant a future video of its own, but essentially what happens here is that there are a whole bunch of statuses that you can match to just by having one of these cards. Now let's start by talking about the advertised status benefit. And on the Business Platinum, that's limited to Marriott Bonvoy Gold Elite, whereas the Personal Platinum also has Hilton Gold, Radisson Gold, and Shangri-La Jade status. Now the interesting thing though is once you have Marriott Gold from either of these cards, you can then match from Marriott Gold to Wyndham Rewards Diamond status, and all you have to do is log into your Wyndham Rewards account and say that you'd like to submit a status match from your Marriott Gold account. You can then match from Wyndham Diamond over to Caesars Rewards Diamond, which gives you a whole bunch of complimentary perks and benefits whenever you're staying at Caesars hotels in Las Vegas or around the world. And again, this process just takes a few days' time. You just have to link your Caesars Rewards account with your Wyndham Rewards account, and then the Diamond status should transfer over. And the best part? Well, in addition to a bunch of complimentary perks in Las Vegas, like valet parking and getting to skip the queues at all the buffets, you also get a complimentary 4-night stay at the Atlantis Paradise Island in the Bahamas, simply by calling up Caesars Rewards and booking your 4-night stay as a Diamond member. Now, that's a free 4-night stay, meaning that you don't have to pay the room rate, but you do have to pay the resort fee of about $65 per night. So the total stay is going to end up costing you about $270, but that's still a fantastic discount compared to the regular rate. Okay, so that's unique benefit number 1. Now the second unique benefit is going to be on the CIBC Aventura card. Hold on, I actually have this card. There it is, the CIBC Aventura Visa Infinite. Now, this card actually has a handful of unique benefits. One of them is a Nexus credit, which helps you apply for the Nexus card, which gets you a smoother travel experience between the US and Canada. But the one I wanted to focus on today is actually the mobile device insurance on the CIBC Aventura. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is actually one of the only credit cards in Canada that gives you protection for your mobile device in case of loss, theft, or accidental damage. The protection applies to cell phones and tablets within 2 years of the purchase date, as long as you charge the device to your card if you're purchasing it outright, or if you're putting it on a monthly payment plan, then you charge all the payments to the CIBC Aventura card. And if you were to lose or damage your device or it gets stolen, then simply make a claim under the mobile device insurance and you'll be reimbursed with a new phone, or you'll be reimbursed with the cost of repairs, up to a maximum of $1,000 per occurrence. Now, to be fair, you may or may not want to sign up for the CIBC Aventura just for the mobile device insurance. I mean, it is one of the less useful points currencies in Canada, even though it has a higher sign-up bonus at the moment. But if you're the type of person who always drops or misplaces their phone, then the next time you buy a new phone, it might be worth putting it on this card just in case. Now, since we're on the topic of insurance, let's now talk about the BMO World Elite series of cards, which includes the regular BMO World Elite and the Air Miles version of this card. Now, I personally don't have either of these cards yet, but I am very tempted by a good reason to sign up for these cards, which is the fact that they're one of the only cards in Canada where the travel insurance actually applies when you redeem points for an award ticket. Now, let's be perfectly clear about one thing here. Most travel insurance in Canada comes in two types. One of them is emergency medical insurance, which covers your medical bills and treatment costs if you get sick or if you get into an accident on your trip. The other type of insurance is stuff like flight delay, baggage delay, trip cancellation, that kind of travel insurance benefits that applies towards unforeseen circumstances during your trip. For the first kind, the emergency medical insurance, that actually applies to you as long as you're a card holder and you don't need to actually pay for the trip with the card. So for those of us who have dozens of premium travel credit cards, then we're simultaneously covered by all these medical insurance policies whenever we travel. But in contrast, for stuff like flight delay and baggage delay insurance, most credit cards will say that you have to charge the full cost of the trip to the card for the insurance to be valid. So for those of us who often travel the world on points, that means that we're not really charging the full cost of our trips to the cards because we're redeeming most of the flights using our points and only paying a little bit in taxes and fees. And that's where the BMO World Elite series of cards comes in, because the insurance on these cards only says that you have to charge the full or partial value of the trip to the card for the insurance to be valid. So for those of us who are redeeming miles to fly around the world, whether that's Aeroplan miles, Alaska miles, Avios, Asia miles, whatever it is, as long as we pay for the taxes and fees on these trips with the BMO World Elite, then we'll be getting the full suite of travel benefits like flight delay insurance, baggage delay insurance, and so on and so forth. So for those of us who primarily travel the world on points, then the BMO World Elite card could be a good option to pick up for its more versatile insurance policies, even though the points themselves, whether it's BMO Rewards or Air Miles, aren't necessarily the most useful. Okay, so unique benefit, the fourth, is in the RBC Avion family of cards, but not on the regular Avion cards, which, I happen to have a bunch of them here, but instead the premium card, the RBC Avion Visa Infinite Privilege, and the business card, the RBC Avion Visa Infinite Business. If you hold either one of these cards, then you have the very unique ability to redeem your Avion points at a flat rate of 2 cents per point for any first class or business class ticket out there without paying a single cent in taxes and fees. So if the business class ticket costs 1,500 Canadian dollars, that's going to be 75,000 Avion points. If it costs 2,500 Canadian dollars, it's going to be 125,000 Avion points, and so on and so forth. Now, even though 2 cents per point doesn't really seem very exciting compared to, we often talk about 5 cents per point, 10 cents per point on business class and first class, it still does make sense in some scenarios. For example, we often see fare sales or mistake fares for business class around, let's say, 1,200 or 1,300 Canadian dollars, and that's going to be equal to 60,000 or 65,000 Avion points, which is actually lower than if you had transferred those Avion points to a frequent flyer partner program and booked business class through there. The other useful thing here is that it lets you use points to book airlines that you wouldn't normally be able to book using your points. So for example, Swiss first class is usually totally off limits to partner bookings. So if you wanted to try Swiss first class, then redeeming Avion points through a quasi fixed points redemption scheme like this one is the best way to go. It's pretty easy to rack up large quantities of RBC Avion points, and you can always combine your Visa Infinite Privilege or your Visa Infinite Business with your regular RBC Avion points and those sign-up bonuses to rack up all the points really quickly. Now, the last Canadian card that we'll talk about today is from an issuer that's less known for travel and more known for hoses, potted plants, and jet skis. And that's Canadian Tire and their Canadian Tire Cash Advantage MasterCard. Now, guys, let's be honest, If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I'm all about the travel rewards and the high value flight redemptions, and that it takes a lot for me to start talking about a cashback card. So what makes the Canadian Tire Cash Advantage card so special? Well, that's because of the very unique bill payment feature on this card, and indeed on all Canadian Tire credit cards, which allows you to pay bills directly from your credit card and earn cash back for these transactions. The way it works is, for the first $24,000 per year in payments that you make, you'll earn 0.25%, 0.5%, or 1% back on these transactions. And then every dollar that you pay over $24,000 per year, you'll earn 1.5% back on your credit card. And which types of bills can you pay? Well, there's the usual suspects like rent, tuition, taxes, and property taxes. And then there's a list of more intriguing possibilities like investment accounts, brokerages, and online trading accounts. So I'll leave it to you to track down the list of billers that you can pay to get that 1.5% cash back. Now there's one slight limitation here, which is that Canadian Tire is notorious for only handing out very small credit limits when you apply as a new customer. And it's not uncommon to hear about somebody applying, for their first Canadian Tire card and only getting a credit limit of $500. So there's definitely a case to be made for building a long-term relationship with Canadian Tire as an issuer, and that's kind of a sentence I never expected I would say out loud. Okay guys, those are 5 unique and underrated credit card benefits in Canada. Now let's talk about the US credit cards and what are some of the most unique and interesting benefits that are particular to one card or one issuer south of the border. Now the first one is probably very well known in the US, but I've never actually covered it here on the channel, and that's the 4th night free benefit on the Citi Prestige card. Now this benefit is unique to the Citi Prestige, where you can get the 4th night of a 4-night hotel stay covered for free, and it's a benefit that's to be used twice per calendar year. It used to be unlimited times per year, but the benefit got so generous that they changed the rules, so now you're limited to using it twice per calendar year. So you'll obviously want to think about the most expensive 2 sets of 4-night hotel stays that you'll be making throughout the year, and use the benefit on those stays. Now, the other limitation here is that the hotel must be booked through Citi's online travel portal. So you can't just make a hotel booking directly and then apply the benefit retroactively. You have to go through Citi's travel portal. So this also means that you won't get stuff like, your hotel points, earning hotel status, using your hotel status benefits, and things like that. So if you're like me and you're mostly loyal to a few hotel brands, Marriott's and Hilton in my case, then arguably this benefit is a little less useful, but it can still be worthwhile if you'd like to, try out a few new hotel brands every now and then, especially hotels that don't have traditional loyalty programs like Four Seasons, Mandarin Orientals, or Rosewoods. These luxury hotels often retail for $500, $1,000 per night, so if you're booking a 4-night stay for a very special occasion, then saving 1/4 of that cost can easily add up very quickly and can justify the card's $450 annual fee all on its own. I might talk about Citi's credit cards a little more in future videos and what they're useful for, because after all, they do accept the ITIN for Canadian applicants in place of a social security number. Now, I myself don't have the Citi Prestige, I have the lower end Citi Premier card, but I could certainly be tempted into upgrading one day by this 4th night free benefit. Finally, let's end with a pretty niche benefit that's available on all Bank of America credit cards in the US. So this includes the Bank of America Alaska Airlines Visa, which gives you a sign-up bonus of 40,000 Alaska miles, as well as the Bank of America Asiana Visa, which could be useful if you're interested in Asiana Airlines' sweet spots for flying things like Etihad Apartments or Lufthansa First Class, or any of the other Bank of America credit cards. Anyway, the specific benefit that caught my eye here that I thought was pretty interesting is Bank of America's Museums on Us benefit, which gives free general admission to all cardholders on the first weekend of every month to over 225 museums and cultural institutions all across the US. And that's just a nice little perk that allows Bank of America to show their appreciation for their cardholders. I mean, personally, when I'm not traveling, when I'm at home, spending a weekend morning at a museum or an art gallery is just a wonderful way to pass the time. So for anybody in the US, this could be just one little reason to pick up another one of Bank of America's credit cards and add it to your wallet. And even for Canadians, it can definitely be useful on one of our trips down to the US, although it's worth noting that Bank of America doesn't accept the ITIN in place of the Social Security number on online applications, so you do have to visit a physical branch in the United States to apply with your ITIN. Anyway, those are just 7 credit card benefits that I thought were unique and underappreciated when I was looking around at all the credit cards out there. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my little analysis of each benefit, and maybe it's convinced you to pick up one of these cards to maximize the benefit for yourself. If so, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the Prince of Travel YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video. And in addition to subscribing, you can also follow me on TikTok, which is what's been keeping me busy these days now that I've been bored in the house. And I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of the unique credit card benefits that we've mentioned? Do you think there are any other unique credit card benefits that are worth highlighting? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Welcome back to